Where are you guys both at?
I'm from
Um,
Alabama. I'm from Alabama.
I'm in Florida right now. Our manager owns a warranty company and sponsors one of the race cars in Daytona. One of the drivers, Spencer Boyd, and my band's got our logo on his truck today. So
Nice. Very nice. Terry, where are you at?
I'm in Los Angeles. I live in Los Angeles still after all these years. Where are you?
I'm up in Wisconsin. It's definitely colder than where you guys are at. I'll tell you that much. So that's for sure.
Coldest winter ever for me was Hinckley. No, wait a minute. No, that's not Wisconsin. That's what state is that? No, that was Wisconsin. I did a show over there and it was minus 30.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It doesn't get that cold that often, but every so often it does.
Yeah.
The best thing, if you ever find yourself in weather that cold, do the hot water toss thing. You've probably seen videos of people doing that. I've done that when it's gotten that cold around here, and it's just as cool as advertised when you toss the water and it immediately does that ice thing out there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up those videos of like tossing hot water out or hot coffee, and it turns into ice. It's
really
yeah. So if you ever find yourself in super cold weather, do that.
Do you have that in Alabama?
not as much.
Yeah, it's just not quite as cold down there. That's true. But good to see you guys today. Been listening to Dead or Alive. That's what we're talking about. This new song that, I mean, it's not new, but it's been out for a little bit. It's fairly new. So Terry and also Brett, and also, of course, George Lynch, the rest of All or Nothing. Been listening to a couple interviews on this project, a couple interviews that you guys have done. So I heard it evolved with Terry. It kind of evolved from an XYZ song. How did you decide it's going to change around and end up becoming this essentially like triple project, if you will?
Well, the truth is I wrote the song for XYZ, and XYZ wanted to go in a different direction, which we are actually going into something else. And the song stayed in my hard drive for about 3 years. And then one day I was talking to Eric, who's Brett's manager, and I was talking to him. I said, "Oh, check this song; it's pretty good." And he loved the song. He said, "Oh my God, it would be so cool if AON could play it." I'm like, "Absolutely, I love the kids." So he said, "What about if we get a guest?" I'm like, "Well, let me call George." So I contacted George Lynch, and George said, "Yeah, it sounds like Lynch, Dokken, XYZ together." I'm like, "That's perfect." I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." So here we are, and we've done shows, and all the shows between AON, George, and myself, all the shows have been sold out so far. It's pretty amazing. So we are working on a new track. I'm waiting for Jacob somewhere to send me a riff guitar, but we're working on a new song. Yes.
Cool. What can you give any hints of the sound, the direction on this new song?
It's gonna be something like that. Maybe a little bit heavier actually, but not trash metal whatsoever. It's still gonna be very melodic 80s thing, and this time around I'm gonna have also Brett do more singing as well. And in fact, he's gonna give me money for that, right? Don't forget, huh? And yeah, so I have the song, I have the melody. I'm just waiting for a riff guitar from Jacob, which is from Alabama, so he takes his time.
Brett, how did you first hear from Terry about this project? Was it directly from him through management? However, how did you first hear that this was a thing?
Yeah, I think Eric told me that you two had been talking, and I think he told all of us, and we just thought that it would be super cool, and we were excited about it. It's cool. We all went to the studio together in Denver, and we had a lot of fun.
It sounds very like just listening to it sounds, I don't know how to put it into words other than it sounds natural. It's probably the best way I could put it. It flows really well.
It wasn't natural. It wasn't that. There was no issues at all. I mean, I produced a track for the kids, and they were so great, so gracious, and fantastic players, and we had a great time. We actually ended up shooting a video on our own. I mean, I remember I was shooting Brett when he was singing with Dion. He was shooting me when I was singing, and vice versa. We were with an iPhone. We were having fun. And all of yeah, remember that, right? We had a video, and then we're like, why not make a video? And here we are.
Yeah, and it actually looks like a pretty well done video as well. That was my take when I was watching it. I went, well, this looks like it's being shot as a music video. So yeah,
no, look, actually, it was not. It was just a fun video for the fun of it, and I guess those guys are really good as far as filming, videographer, and all of a sudden we had great footage, and I'm like, why not do a video? Yeah. Talking about something else, Brett, did you talk to Eric this morning?
Yes, I did.
Did he tell you something about what I need from you?
I don't think so. I'm gonna talk to him in a little while when we go to the racetrack.
Yeah, you call me. When we're done with this interview, you call me. I got something important for you.
Okay.
Very interesting.
When we work, I mean, I treat it, I don't treat him like my kid. He's not my kid, but I like Brett, and I like those kids very much, and I want to help them as much as possible. Why? Because eventually it's going to be time to pass on the torch, and that's life. It's the way it goes, and they have such energy on stage. They're the real deal. Airwine is a real deal. It's not a band that's a fabricated kind of band put together, whatever. They are the real deal. They love 80s music, but they want to take it further. They don't want to just do what we have done in the past. They want to take from what we have done and bring something fresh into this picture. And I commend that. I saw their show. They're fantastic live, and they're really good musicians, and they're good kids. I mean, they're 21 years old. I mean, that's amazing. I hate that. So,
well, and Brett, what are your direct? And I'm sure you've answered this a bunch of times, but your direct influences as a group. So, all of your influences. What's the closest thing to like a consensus influence that the band has?
Oh Lord. We have a lot. We listen to stuff that's all over the place. We listen to, of course, the 80s stuff that's more modern and a lot heavier, and a whole lot of Pantera and Skid Row and stuff like that. So we want to have melody. We want it to be catchy, but we want to have a little bit of grit to it. We want it to have some edge to it too. So we're trying to find the right balance of all of that.
Terry, what did All or Nothing? You kind of described the band in a general sense, but to this song, to Dead or Alive, what did All or Nothing bring? Maybe something subtle that even a listener may not pick up, but what did the band bring to this particular arrangement and this recording?
An amazing energy. That's really what struck me, is the energy. There was something magical when they started recording the song. When we did the song with XYZ, which was just a demo, so I can't really say how it would have turned out to be. But when Brett and the kids decided to record the song, they brought an amazing amount of energy and almost a positiveness. There was something very positive in the way they played the song. Skylar, the drummer, was rocking. I mean, oh my God, we had to tell him to relax. You're overpowering. He's such a powerful drummer. He was amazing. I said, well, so I think just the energy, the fun energy, and reminded me when I was 22 years old. I was like, wow, this is the way it is. Let's have fun. Let's kill. Let's have fun. And they have that vibe that's fresh, and I love that. makes me feel young again. What I mean,
yeah. Well,
no comment.
Well, and at the same time, you have George Lynch just churning out another classic George Lynch solo. So how does he put together? You've seen him in the studio do this, and any of us have heard it. Okay, you actually get to watch him. How does he put together a solo like that?
Well, George does what a lot of guitar players do, I believe. I'll call it trials and error. I mean, you do a lot of solos, and then you find yourself as you like, oh my God, this is pretty good. That sucks. It's good. And all of a sudden you put things together, and then you have a great solo. I mean, I think it's I wouldn't call it trial and errors, but well, maybe it is. You just get inspired. You play the track over and over again, and then you get the right thing. I think it's pretty much the same thing for a singer. Wouldn't you agree, Brett? When you sing a track, that the first take, it pretty much you're searching for something. You don't really have it. Am I correct? And then you move on and you get it right.
You're kind of at first you're kind of throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, and then I like this piece and I think I want to do this here, and then sometimes you accidentally do something that you end up really liking that you wouldn't think about, and then you get the lyrics down, you get how you want to sing them down for me, and then I get comfortable with it and stop caring as much a little bit and just start kind of throwing it out there, and that's when the really fun natural takes come from.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
I saw the backing vocal part in the video. There's a woman singing with you. Who was she?
Ooh. Well, we can't say anything because we want to protect the guilty, but no, she's a friend. Diane is a wonderful singer. She's becoming a really dear friend of mine and the band as well. And she's a great singer. She's been doing backup vocals for everyone. She's from the Boston, Rhode Island neighborhood, or that. And she plays I mean, she works with everybody. She's done thousands of hours of recording. Dion is actually Dee is a wonderful singer, and I like her energy as well. She's very positive. She's a gun-ho kind of person, and she's beautiful. Why not? What do you think, Brett?
Yeah, she's super cool. She was fun to have in the studio, and she was throwing out a bunch of ideas for lines and how to do things, and she was cool. He's awesome.
I'm always fascinated, and I ask that in part because I'm one of those liner note types that I'm going to discogs.com to see like who played bass on this one track by this one. I love finding out who was really behind that to see, oh, this person. I love that sort of stuff. So of course I perked up at that. What's the most famous recording she's been on?
Oh, you would have to ask her, but I think she's worked with members of Boston. Todd, what is the name of that producer? Famous producer. She works a lot with him. Todd, I forget his last name. He produced Bad Out of Hell, Meatloaf. What's his name? That famous producer, Todd.
Jim Steinman.
She worked with him, and she works with Todd. The guy who produced the album. Todd what's his last name? Lundgren. I'm forgetting his last name.
Todd Rundgren.
Yes. She works a lot with him.
Wow.
She's a top-notch singer. She's the real deal. I mean, I actually, when I'm in studio with her, I like to consult with her. I consult. So how do you do this? And what do you think of that note? And she's the real deal. She's a backup singer. She considers herself a backup singer, not a lead vocalist. And it's two different things. So as a backup singer, she has ideas that a lead singer wouldn't have, seriously, because we're thinking scattering and being the stars, whatever. She's in the background, but what she does is absolutely amazing. She really brings a lot to the track. So I'm definitely going to work more again with her, and she's great.
Very good. Very cool.
So you're from Wisconsin?
I'm from Wisconsin. Yes, this is my hometown here in Eau Claire.
Good for you, man.
Have you ever, either of you guys been to Western Wisconsin? I know a lot of folks are down to the southeastern part of the state, the southern part of the state, Madison, Milwaukee, getting over to, I'm blanking on the amphitheater, but the big one down south. I know what I'm blanking just off the top of my head. But those parts of the state, Green Bay, etc. Have you been up to the western part of the state before?
Well, give me the city. What city?
So we're like about an hour and a half east of the Twin Cities. So Eau Claire, Chippewa Falls. We're kind of near Rockfest in Cadott.
Yeah, I played there with Great White a few times, actually.
Okay, good. So yeah, you're kind of familiar with this part of the area. Yeah. Brett, have you ever been up around here?
Yes.
I've been to Milwaukee, but I haven't been to that area.
Okay, it's pretty cool up here. I will say there's a big rock fandom, especially in the western part of the state. Between rock and country, it's big up here. I mean, it's plenty diverse. I mean, you can find everything up here. And Eau Claire is really diversifying in terms of its artistry. Like Bon Iver, I don't know if you're familiar with Bon Iver, but he's from the guy from Bon Iver. He's from Eau Claire.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, he was actually from the same high school I went to, if that's any indication. So I mean, we've got a lot of variety, but
that's cool.
Yeah, but
rock is joke around and call him Bon Iver.
We do the same thing too. We're like, oh yeah, here's another Bon Iver. But I mean, at the same time, we respect the heck out of him. I mean,
yeah, totally.
To get to the point of being a best new artist, something like that. So I mean, there's a lot. I know there was a guy who just won a Grammy Award for best like jazz recording or what I can't remember the exact one at the Grammys just like a couple weeks ago, and he's originally from Eau Claire. So we got a lot of variety, but the rock fandom we got again. Terry, you were at Rockfest with Great White. We got two big country festivals, and there's a lot of crossover between the two, musically speaking. So, don't
you have a show coming up over there with Great White?
I think so, actually. I don't know the date, but everything's on the website. I have a tab on my phone where all the website dates are just pulled up so I can look, because between that and this and my date, I mean, my brain is like fried with dates right now. But yes, I'm pretty sure we do.
I will say you will definitely find a receptive audience up here. That's for sure. The folks love they love their rock around here, as we've discovered, very much.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that.
Speaking of Great White, okay, so now that I'm talking to a former and current singer in Great White, I'll ask you both your favorite Great White song to perform. Terry, you go first.
I think my favorite one would be Save All Your Love. I think the song was beautifully written. I love the arrangement. Jack sang it so well. And it's a beautiful song, very well written, great, easy lyrics, beautiful. That's my favorite song. I also like Lady Red Light. I think it's very catchy. But that's yeah, they're all great. I mean, I was a big fan of the band before joining the band, so What about you, Brett?
Same, and All or Nothing has played a bunch of their songs before in our cover sets and stuff. So
we did really together. Cool. Remember that together? In Nashville.
Yeah. We used to play Lady Red Light, Save Your Love. There was a couple more that we've done. Rock Me. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I love doing Save Your Love. That's that one, and Stick It right now with what we're playing is my favorite. We don't play the Angel song too much, but whenever we do, I love doing that one too.
Very cool. Brett, yeah. your favorite XYZ song?
Ooh. Every time y'all play Face Down in the Gutter, I'm with it. And Take What You Can. Both of those songs, they rip.
Very good. And Terry, your favorite Dokken song?
I'm a big Dokken fan. First of all, I've always loved Don Dokken's voice, and I'm a big fan of George. I think my favorite Dokken song would be "It's Not Love" and Mr. Scary, believe it or not. because I love the guitars. I mean, the Hunter also. I love the Hunter. It's a very well written song, very simple, very well written. But I really love Mr. Scary. I think when I first heard that song, I was like, wow, holy cow. Don Dokken produced our first album, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, working with George is a blessing. I'm so excited about that. I love George playing. I think he's tremendous, amazing.
Well, I was going to say this is covering so many generations here, from the generation of XYZ and Dokken going back even further, getting up to newer music, All or Nothing now, and all these other acts in there, getting to the younger generation. And again, I was listening to one of the interviews you were talking about getting the younger fan base that seems to be showing up to a lot of these shows. What do younger fans, so let's say the younger millennials, maybe even the older Gen Zers, because they're starting to show up to this now. And then if Gen Z is like people who were born 97 or later, so is there anyone in All or Nothing that was born 97 or later?
Me and Skylar, me and the drummer were both born in 97, and Jacob, our guitarist, was born in 2000.
Okay, so we got Gen Z now involved with this. So we're covering a lot. We're covering Gen X, Millennial, Gen Z, all of this. But especially for that critical next generation to build a new group of fans, what do younger fans like in this type of music compared to those who grew up? And maybe, Terry, this is more of a question for right. Comparing to the older ones. Brett, more for what do you see among your age group? What are the younger folks like compared to those who grew up with the original version of this type of music from the 1980s?
Well, Brett,
I think over time it's just gotten a little heavier, so the riffs are played a little bit different and more of a groove kind of way. And I mean, we still have solos and stuff, but maybe a little bit more sweeps in there. It's just little variations to where it's pretty similar, but it's just the execution of it that's stylistically changing a little bit.
Terry, what would you say on the looking at it from the older generation? But that's true. What do you see in the younger generation, and what are they taking out of the music compared to those that were fans from your first time out?
Well, the younger generation, like Brett, they have a lot of energy, the energy that we had when we were younger. And I don't know how can I say that? For me, it's fascinating to see AON play live, how Brett loves to jump in the crowd and just like a maniac, and the way they are, they're very debonair. They really don't care. They have this attitude that says, screw you, I don't care, Yeah. And I like that. I like that because as we get older, sometimes we tend to be more proper and reserved. We watch what we say and everything. But those guys don't care. They're like, screw you, and I love that attitude. So when I see younger bands play that type of music, they have maybe more energy that we had back in the days, more rage, more I don't care type of.
You gotta capture the raw angst of it to get the kids involved,
Yeah, I love it, man.
It's perfect.
I watch you on stage when you play, and you don't care. I mean, and the way you talk to the crowd is very different than the way we or talk to the crowd. You guys are different. You still do the same type of things we did, but you do it differently, and I really like that. I really like that. I wouldn't be able to do what you do because I'm older, and I don't know. It's just a different thing. I just love it. I just love watching you guys play.
Last question for you guys. If you were to put together a super group based on this lineup, Terry Ilous, George Lynch, All or Nothing, and you decided we're going to make a super group, one of those 80s style super groups, what would you call yourselves? What's the name?
Yeah.
I know I just threw a complete curveball at you, but What would you call yourselves? And you could totally do the easy out, which a lot of the supergroups did, and just name yourselves after the last names, like Ilous, Lynch, and AON.
I have a name. The French Redneck and the Alabama Boys.
Yes.
I think we got a good one there. Good. All right.
Yes.
Well, maybe you could.
Can you beat that, Brett? Can you beat that one?
No, I think it should just be Fredneck, and on the logo, the K is like backwards.
Fredneck and the Alabama Boys. Yeah, I like that. Fredneck and the Alabama Boys.
Yeah.
Because you don't know, but we always talk about being a little bit of rednecks, all that stuff. We always talk about that. They think I'm a redneck, you know, and it's pretty funny, you know.
We teach him to speak like us, and so he tries to have a thick Southern drawl in his voice. So we started calling him the Fredneck, French redneck.
I do. Look, watch me. Hey boy, you got a pretty mouth.
Pretty much. Got a nice chin.
Got a nice chin, boy.
Oh boy, okay.
Redneck and the Alabama Boys. That is the name of the band. I'm telling you right now. You know?
Redneck and the Bama Boys.
Yeah, and the Bama Boys. Yeah, no Alabama.
Like
the Bama Boys. Yeah, it's even better. Redneck and the Bama Boys. Yeah.
Well, there we go. We're all set for the next release. You got the label now. I just need to work on the logo and all of that. Perfect. This has been a lot of fun. It's a great song. Anyone listening to this as well has probably already listened to the song. If not, listen. Dead or Alive, Terry Ilous and George Lynch featuring AON. All or Nothing. Thank you guys. Enjoy all the work you're doing down the road. Thanks for chatting, and we'll see you later.